15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. We have a liftoff. Liftoff on Apollo. Now, I'm sure that most of you know the old story about the astronaut who went far out into space and was asked on his return whether he had been to heaven and seen God. And he said yes.
Greetings, ladies, gentlemen, non-binaries, and sentient artificial intelligence. Join us on this journey to find the others. Because no matter where we find ourselves in this multiverse, the act of existing is all too familiar.
Guys? Is anybody out there? Hello?
The mushroom has a tremendous problem-solving ability.
Herb is a plant. I mean, herbs are good for everything.
As we look across this great expanse and stare at the stars, we can't help but be reminded these lights, though we're seeing them all at the same time, happened across a multi-billion-year delta. Some of those fires burned millions of years ago, some billions, but all of them happened so we could experience them in this one singular moment.
They called us scouts. They called us seekers. They called us Hoosiers. But we were destined to question everything.
I don't know about you, but as for me, the question has already been answered. Should we be here? Yes.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hoosier Sophisticate.
What's up, ladies and germs and non-binaries and sentient artificial intelligence? Welcome to the April 6th edition of Hoosier Sophisticate.
I've missed these people, man. I feel like you've done a couple awesome things. You and Missy went live with like a love line type deal.
We had some fun there.
I was really enjoying. I like that a lot. You guys got some pretty good questions. You got a little intimate. Jenny and I had a glass of wine, and we kind of just laid back and heard the questions that you're answering. And I was also trying to sabotage everything at all times.
I saw that.
Who was your best previous lover?
Yeah, that's all. Yeah,
and Jenny, my wife, is like, "How dare you? How dare you do that to them?"
Absolutely I had a good hearty giggle over that one.
You
because afterwards you commented, "Well, pulled the pin." Just went ahead and lobbed that grenade right on in there.
I did.
But you know what? Those are the kinds of things that I was looking for.
I know.
I want the hard-hitting questions.
And
you
you're
want to sit
evolved.
with me? You want to sit with me and my future wife in bed? Let's have an adult conversation here.
No doubt.
Okay?
Dude.
I'll tell you my favorite color. You want to hear my favorite color? It's green, by the way. But let's get to the nitty-gritty.
Let's get real, because there's only one thing of value that we learned from your conversation and recent conversation on the fan page. There's only one thing of value that a modern woman.
Breaking news. Breaking news. 2020, women were declared to have value outside of their pants.
Nope. No, you're wrong. That's where you're wrong. Well, he's right in a sense, because fleshlights and robot vaginas,
Vagines?
they are Mwah, sir. Okay, you can't tell the difference in a dark room. No, we've had some interesting times on the fan page. I think everyone's kind of cooped up. That's why I'm so glad to see everybody, to get everybody's reactions to what we're doing, because we've been kind of going crazy. We don't know what to do. We know that we need to produce content. We know we need to do things to entertain these people. But then you got Jack Johnson doing a concert.
No doubt.
It's been really neat, but it's also the weirdest time to be alive. And I'm kind of weirded out because I can't get very many answers to some of the base questions, and the testing for the virus is weird, and we can't get real numbers on a thing, and why is the U.S. like this, and the other countries are lying about their numbers, and Trump didn't do this right, or he did do this right, and well, he saw this coming, and this thing cures coronavirus. Oh, well, it's just like SARS. All these things, if we can learn one thing from all of this, it's that Backstreet Boys are a better band. You know what I mean? Better than NSYNC. No, but for real, we're going to get to that here in a second. We need to come together. Like, we need to, I know it sounds cliche and fucking, the Beatles said it before, but now is a time for cosmic change in America.
Yeah.
We have a clean slate moment here to really choose how we want to live after this. What's vital to society, what's not, reevaluate everything in your life, because we're going to get into a big question later of who do you want to be?
No doubt.
What did you want to be? Who are you now? Who do you want to be? Because right now, you've had a lot of time to think about who you want to be. And I don't want to get into it because I know you're going to have some expansive thoughts. And who I want to be
it might drag on a minute.
Is a fan of Backstreet Boys over NSYNC, bud.
Listen, bud.
Okay. Come on, bud.
Come on, bud.
Okay, I did some research. Jenny and I, this was tearing our house apart during quarantine. We had the speakers up, and I'm like, I hear "As Long as You Love Me." I hear everybody. I hear all of these hardcore jams from the Backstreet Boys, and I realize that they are so much better. It looks pretty good, guys. Looks good, guys. Bud? It really is. Looks good, bud. It really is good. Looks good. I'm going to do everything right now, and you can kind of see the ground back there, but as soon as you're sitting. Good. Okay, bud.
Now we're cooking with gas. We are shitting and tall cotton, pal.
So the Backstreet Boys have 9 jams. NSYNC has 9 jams. Most people didn't give a fuck. I put a poll on the page, and most people are like, "Oh, I don't care."
I get it.
I
We're
care.
too cool for it. I get it.
Yeah, I care. Now, because Backstreet Boys have more solid songs. People are conflating Justin Timberlake for NSYNC success, and that's just not real.
I tend to agree. I'd like to.
That's not right.
Yeah, the only real way to break it down is to put them up 1-to-1. For me, the Backstreet Boys.
That's how you do it.
Were a cohesive unit. Nick Carter wasn't running away with it. They
tried.
AJ, nobody did. It took all of them to make this great thing. NSYNC was like, it was JT, and he was like Jack LaLanne, right? And he was towing everything. He was towing 75 boats across the English Channel,
and people are into boats. Just Lance is in there like, I got to blow Perlman again, or what's the deal? Ron Perlman.
I get to blow Perlman again. That's the deal.
I bet they all had to fucking bang that fucking
knowing
crazy
what's going on in Hollywood and everything.
Ron fucking Perlman. Wasn't that his name? That creepy fuck who put together all the fucking boy bands?
Yeah, it wasn't.
Sorry. I'm getting off topic a little bit. But Backstreet Boys, their songs, you're right. They had a
Lou
whole
Pearlman.
group.
Ron Perlman's Hellboy.
Thank you, yes, Lou Pearlman. So their songs were just better. That's the whole deal. They're, as a group, AJ coming in with that Bad Boy. My fire, the one desire, believe when I say I want it that way. I hear it upstairs. That's a great tune, and their lyrics were great.
No doubt. Their music videos.
Gotta be me. It's gonna be me. Here. It's gonna be me. That's all they did, okay? It's not good.
Listen, and it's safe to say that, the Backstreet Boys, they really inspired the masses, bud.
They did, bud.
It brings me to a fun memory. My good buddy Chad. We've talked about a lot over the last couple weeks. And my buddy Chaz. Chad and Chaz. And Craig, so typically a very white band. Every year,
Chaz, and Craig.
Chaz, and Craig.
Is that Bell Biv DeVoe's
You
real
know
name?
who our fathers are?
Is that Poison's real name?
That
is Poison. No, Poison's the hair band.
So anywho, we used to have a lip syncing talent show that went on. The first prize was like $200 to the winner.
Damn.
Had a bunch of the kids from the
bad
parish
candy.
would come in, and man, the bar was set pretty high early on. Me and my buddies, Chaz again, Nick Spencer, my little sister was in kindergarten at the time. We did Amish Paradise. We dressed up as the Amish folks.
Is that where you
throwing
have
down.
that other picture?
Yep,
Okay,
totally.
I don't know what
So that was a talent show. We got fucking hosed by some dickhead little kid that dressed like Elvis singing Hound Dog. Like he was clearly patronizing this. He knew what he was doing.
Oh, in Amish Paradise, you didn't guys were just
Oh yeah, all of
pandering.
the 58-year-old judges were really they were.
You're pandering to the crowd.
Of course, it was
Weird Al.
It was
You
the
can't
thing.
go wrong.
You can't go wrong with Weird Al, and you can be as animated
a parody
as you want.
of a parody.
The following year, our buddy Chad, comes up to me and Chaz. He's like, "Hey guys, I'm in this. I'm in this time. Let's figure out something." And at the time, one of the greatest music videos of all time was created by the Backstreet Boys. It was a song called "Everybody." I think that's the move. That's the move. So "Everybody" came out, and me and the Chads, we decided to
The Chads.
We decided that was going to be our recreation.
Chads.
Our recreation this year was going to be
And
the
you guys did
Backstreet
that
Boys.
not sarcastically. This was you guys really wanting to be.
Just trying to be cool, man.
Yeah.
There's girls out there, man. There's girls out there. You want
Everybody, yeah,
rock your body, yeah.
Everybody, rock your body right. Look at that. Look at that picture.
Backstreet's back.
All right. God, that is good. So that pretty much sums it up. And my wife is wrong. And we're getting counseling over it, but we're going to get through this, through the quarantine, because now the quarantine really starts, bud.
Yeah.
It's time for it now.
It's interesting. We're seeing that. We're gonna go back to that Backstreet thing just because of a funny little deal that happened.
Okay,
with my
what
dad.
happened?
So we're like, afterwards we get done and we're feeling pretty good about ourselves. Like it was definitely on topic. It was of
Did
the
you guys
moment.
do the whole song?
We did the whole song.
Three of you.
We had the.
Did you have backup
We had the
dancers?
whole. Just us. We had Phantom of the Opera, Dracula,
What's up?
and
up?
I don't know,
Mummy.
whatever the other one
Hot
was.
Mummy.
Yeah, Hot Mummy, something, whatever. So you get down and you're performing as a 11-year-old kid or something in front of a couple hundred people in the gym, and the adults are probably fucking bombed because they're going to watch kids fucking lip sync and
it's
whatnot.
Catholic school.
And if we drink at everything.
Yeah.
And so I get done and I'm kind of gassed up. I'm really trying to at least feel
What grade
out.
are you in?
Seventh, maybe.
Sixth.
Sixth.
Because that was 96,
Sixth or
97,
seventh. Yeah,
98.
probably seventh. So
Yeah,
actually,
it was 96.
A little bit older. Anyway, so I'm feeling pretty good. I'm
Yeah.
my grade school girlfriend at the time.
Did
like,
you
"Hey,
look
see
at
that?"
the girls' reaction, or were you
Oh yeah,
focused?
I was watching it, and I think that for a second there was like a crippling disappointment in their eyes as we did it. But I fucking blew through that because you gotta be confident if you're gonna be the Backstreet Boys. I come off the stage.
There's a scale of like,
And my mom's
he's
like-
an asshole, he's an asshole, he's an asshole. Oh, he's so confident, I want to fuck him.
Yes, you get it. I knew this at 12.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, anywho, I get off the stage. My mom, being my mom, she just wants to make you feel good. She wants to make you feel good, and she's, "Oh, that's great, babe." And I'm like, "What'd you think, Dad? What'd you think?" He goes, "I got to be honest, bud. I don't know."
He's Canadian.
Yeah, he goes, "I don't know what the fuck I just saw."
Your
And
dad.
I was like, Yeah, he just pretty much voiced what. It's pretty much what I was thinking, Dad. But he wasn't.
Son, was that what was that number? Was that the Beach Boys or something?
Yeah, he was clearly an NSYNC guy.
He's like, JC Chasez would have fucking blew a load all over your face, son.
Listen, let's. I don't know. Anyway, I just thought it was a funny story
good.
because it was like I remember my dad just never wanted to pull punches. He's like, hey, if you want to know the truth, bud, you guys look like a couple of dicks up there.
God damn, dude. Well, sometimes you're gonna look like an asshole.
I do it every Monday, Steve.
My kid is doing all these TikToks where he's doing like all these dance
Record them.
and I never get embarrassed by anything. Jen goes, "You want to do a family TikTok?" I almost like snailed inside of my own body. Remember when you were a kid and you could tuck your penis into your own body? Remember that?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, it's kind of, I wanted to do that with my soul.
Okay.
Nothing embarrasses me, but doing a TikTok, I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I cannot, because it's not ironic yet. I have to do an ironic TikTok if I'm going to do it. Somebody better call the law.
No doubt. No doubt. Take the piss out of the platform.
I couldn't bring myself to do that with my kids. What kind of person am I? I couldn't put my. It's not like painting your fingernails. 2
years ago, I told
with
you
the daughter.
We probably need to get on this TikTok thing because it's probably the easiest thing you could do. And I know that's why you don't want to do it. It's the cheapest.
Well, no, it's not that. It honestly, if you watch it, you'll end up on some sort of list because a lot of it is 12 to 18-year-old girls who are kind of...
Yeah, it's not our platform.
I don't assume low self-esteem, but the more likes, the bigger your tits are and the more they're hanging out is equated to how many of these fucking weirdos are going to give you likes on there.
No doubt.
I feel like it's
No doubt.
false equivalating to... if that's a word, to, move on. And, to titties and likes and self-esteem.
Yeah, no, I'm watching it happen in there's the quarantine beer chugging page on Facebook, and the same thing's happening.
Yeah. I'll show my asshole.
A guy, whatever, chugs 3 beers, it gets 600 likes. There's like fucking 500,000 people in the group now or whatever. But a gal does, she chugs a Smirnoff Ice with a scoop neck tea and her tits hanging out, and she's got 40,000 likes. Which is fine. We should all appreciate that. That's great. But it's like, man, it's kind of fucking weird, right? Like
lowest common denominator type shit,
for sure. For sure. It's just low-hanging fruit. Hey, real quick, while we got a lot of the cannabis community here, I want to segue a little bit. Because, it's something we haven't talked about since it's really gone down. We are now in 420, Steve. I mean, you and I blocked off. We blocked off this entire month. This entire month to do, and as many of you did. Well, babe, that's not true. You were already wearing a tank top. You asked me if you should continue wearing the tank top. I said, fucking duh. And then you changed. I didn't say like, hey, go put on your tank top, woman, and go show us your money makers. That's not how it went down.
Tank top for our life. That's awesome. Jennifer Barrett says, 6th grade, my friend and I would dress up and make dances on roller skates to Prince. Is that... Mike has a very similar story, which is crazy.
That is true.
Jenny made that video. I think they're talking about that on the text line. Let's bring up Mike. We can say hi to Mike real quick.
Let's say hi to Mike. Here he is. Hi, Mike.
Hey, everybody. How y'all doing?
I made him super small last time ever.
There we go.
Hey, buddy. How's
hey,
quarantine, bud?
How's it going, bud?
It's going all right. It's going all right. We haven't lost our minds yet. We've been doing a lot of outside
all right, cool.
work.
That's how I was just wondering how things were going real quick. All right. Now let's get on to your segue.
Fuck off.
Cannabis news.
Let's. I just wanted to talk about we haven't talked about Cannabis for Sykes in the last 2 weeks. I think we've been trying to find as much humor as possible in this situation. It's a fucked up deal. We're all dealing with.
It's fucked up.
But there was something you said. Who do we want to be? And this will be the theme throughout the show. Who do we want to be after the quarantine? I felt like as far as the Missouri cannabis scene went, leading up to all of this craziness, there was a very real split in the grassroots or in the the cannabis enthusiasts in Missouri as far as the direction of how the medical program's going and rolling out future adult use.
It's the social group people and the people who show up to events.
Yes. Exactly. It's definitely two different crowds. And it is weird because
Well,
there are people
there's way
inside both.
crossover.
Yeah, there are people inside both camps that I mean, they're in agreement, but you're right. It's very much the trade groups and industry versus a lot of these people who feel maybe underrepresented, or the only place they have a voice is online, and they're not going to the the meetups in Jefferson City or any of these other things. Bottom line is, simplify it. We were a house divided over cannabis. And it did. And while in the beginning, when we were talking about Amendment 2, Prop C, or Amendment 3, like there was certainly a little bit of division. But for the most part, everybody that's active in the game now were Amendment 2.
Oh yeah, we had a bad guy too.
People.
We had
someone to go against. In this one, people listen. I get the argument for, because I want everything legalized and decriminalized completely. So I totally understand that. Like that's not compelling enough to me to hasn't been to write what I didn't feel was a good enough bill to really give us what we want as cannabis enthusiasts. It looks like the COVID has put the brakes on gathering signatures, which probably put the brakes on it being on the ballot. I do have, I feel for the people that have put in a ton of work to ultimately introduce this. Whether or not I agree with them doesn't diminish how much work has probably taken place in order to try and draft a fucking infrastructure for adult use cannabis. They said that there was no way they could change the language to appease all of the people in the community that want adult use, but don't want it as written. They said they didn't have the time to make a change in order to get this on the ballot by then. Mm-hmm. Everything had to be in by May. It looks like they're not going to be able to do that. The next chance is going to be 2022. It's 2 years. Do we have, do you feel like we should, or do you feel like they will? And those are probably two different questions you can answer. Try and hand an olive branch out. Write something in the language about licensing that will bring so many more people into it. Maybe expand the expungement, language so that it applies to more than what the program covers. Because ultimately, you can't really make a believer out of me that anybody is sitting doing hard time for less than 8 ounces. There's people doing time. But they're like all these people that they're like showing that are in for 10, 20-year sentences, those are not for half pound of weed.
Yeah, and if they have like 2 gun and violent convictions, and then maybe their third one was an ounce of weed,
3-strike law
the deal
deal
with that?
Sure.
I don't want any violent motherfuckers out there really, but also the jail system is completely fucked. But to answer your question, I think this is a huge opportunity for Missouri right now. I mentioned Jack Johnson earlier. I mentioned people doing creative things, having a lot of time on our hands, being able to think. Right now is a time to act. Right now is a time to exercise your fucking brain muscles. Because I guarantee, Dave Chappelle said something amazing in his
in my pick,
in your pick, and he said something along the lines of how there's a comedian out there for everyone. Well, I believe there's probably a lawmaker out there for everyone too. And this is an opportunity. We've seen recreational cannabis work. It works. When it comes to a place, businesses flourish. The reason I was considering being full bore against the new recreational adult use amendment was I thought it opened up the same exact pathways that we fucked up on in our medical licensing, which I felt led to questions that didn't get answers about collusion and bullshit behind the scenes and big businesses and all this crap, that muddied the waters. Mm-hmm. We have an opportunity, a huge one, to really dedicate cannabis to small time community business based, like what we're trying to do with native hemp and sweet leaf.
No doubt.
Everything that we try to do, we're going to give back to the community somehow. Give back, build these communities up. Cannabis prohibition has destroyed, drug prohibition has destroyed communities, families, households, jobs, careers, college lives. You know, they took away my grants because I got caught with a bong.
Yep.
They have been destroying people's lives for so long. I wonder, sometimes it's our own imagination. Dream up a fucking bill that is the perfect bill. Let's see what that looks like. Let's put it next to the other bill. Let's use this as the biggest opportunity Missouri has seen to grow small businesses that we've had in the last 100 years since, cotton or, iron. I don't know. What's the other? Lead, like since a big industry came to Missouri. We can do this. We can do this. We can make it our own. The show me state, growing your own, being on a local level. That's huge in Missouri. I think the opportunity's here. It's what we do with it now.
No doubt, brother. And I want to acknowledge our buddy Nate on cannabis, because he said, will they change it? Probably not. I mean, and I'm not putting words. These are my words, not Nate's. But I think that it would be naive of us to take into consideration who has drafted this legislation. It's been drafted by big national powers that are taking on multiple states at a time. And there is, regardless of whether or not it's a benevolent agenda, there is an agenda. And so do they really have any interest in making it a more inclusive market? Probably not. But Nate brings up a great point. It gives us time for a competing measure to be on there. For the longest time, there were even people inside of Normal that said there is no way. I believe it was 126, 128 was the competing one. I will look that up. We'll get that corrected. But basically, it said that's not going to make it on the ballot this year. That's not right. And there were a lot more people behind it. And honestly, the language was pretty similar. And one of the biggest frustrations with me speaking out against it in the beginning was I didn't understand why there were seemingly people in very highly trusted cannabis organizations that posit that they speak for the entire community. I didn't understand why they were stumping so hard for one and not giving the more inclusive one the time of day.
There's something going on.
And so the thing they kept repeating was, well, they won't have it in time for the ballot. Okay, well, now we got time. Yeah. So now can we have a conversation?
Yep,
that's where I'm at. Let's have a conversation. Now is there something that, and by the way, also answer the question, if you speak for the community, how can you be so fervently against something that almost 40% of the community, if not 50%? I mean, it really looks like a house divided.
Yeah.
Maybe even more.
Yeah.
Maybe even more. Like I said, I can't believe they've got me to a point where I might be voting against cannabis. I really couldn't believe that. I still can't believe that. And so now that we have the time, now that we're afforded the time, we're not rushing this through. Let's fucking kill it. Let's do this shit.
No doubt. It's not black and white. It's not like legalize or don't legalize.
Yep.
There are ways to make smaller communities and give back, make smaller communities better and give back to the people that drive everything that happens, to give back to the people whose lives have been ruined by the war on drugs. We are finding out that cannabis is an essential service during
as it should
crisis.
Be. And I'm going to tie that into just a little earmark for later. There's somebody that's lobbying for psychedelics in the same manner during coronavirus. We'll get to that after we show these people some commercials and maybe some music videos.
No doubt, man. Jenny and I's music video. We also have a Sweet Leaf thing. We're working on a Sweet
and
Leaf
we had a fan submitted song that.
Oh, that's it. That's it,
guys. You're not going to believe how good this song is. Well, you will believe it if you know the people that are doing it. It's so incredible, and I think what we'll do is something fun to bring the whole group together. Anybody, I feel like there's a lot of people that miss out in the group that only know this group through the internet, that haven't been to a live event. They really miss out on just fucking what makes this family great.
Yeah.
So maybe what we'll do is we're going to have everybody submit pictures from Hoosier Hangs. If they have them, email them in to us. Twain, TWAIN, at mycelial, MYCELIAL.media. Email those pictures in. We're going to put together a little collage, a little slideshow as a music video.
We got
for
an
this
album.
Song.
We got
it's
a whole
fucking
album.
great.
I wrote a song the other day. You got you got a song, and you got another one. Fucking the one you got going right now is fucking dude. I'm with it. I'm with it. And I took my tune and I gave it to our buddy Ryan just to see what he's gonna do. With
I thought about doing the exact same thing.
Maybe when you get Nancy in on it too, like give it to both of them.
I know he was like on the
Battle Royale.
He was like, man, no one invited me. I'm like, settle down, Nancy. Okay, you're always invited. You're a hall flame.
I cut you off. I cut you off saying cannabis was essential during.
We're
COVID.
figuring out cannabis is essential. We're figuring it out. No, we're realizing it as a people that cannabis is essential. There is a little 3-year-old girl
Give us a link on the page, please.
that cannabis is helping shrink her cancerous brain tumors.
Yes.
It's hard for me to understand and believe with all of the misinformation and fake news and Project Mockingbird, all this shit with the COVID virus. And it's hard for me to really take a doctor's word for shit and these word and the WHO and the CDC when the endocannabinoid system, through our own research, you find out that a few years ago, only 6 to 8% of schools were even mentioning it. Yep. Med schools. And we think that, Kyle Turley's out there saying it might be a cure for COVID. I don't want to go there. But who knows? Who knows? Even though I looked up, cannabinoids are, you need a little bit of inflammation to fight a virus. Yeah. So there's some mixed results there. I looked all that shit up.
Well, and we also want to be very diligent about not presenting cannabis or psychedelics as a panacea.
No,
they're not fix-alls for everything, but they do address issues that you might receive. Like, again, we're going to get to it a little bit later on, talking about with anxiety and everything. There are a whole mess of things.
A whole mess of stuff
that cannabis helps with.
There's it's curing a little girl's brain cancer. It's shrinking tumors. The RSO is helping her eat. She's also going through chemo. And she's had a few treatments, and it's not medulla oblongata. He told me that. I said
medulloblastoma.
It's medulla.
Medullablastoma.
Medulla. I'm a moron.
Okay.
Apologize. But they thought it was pretty funny, so I thought it was good. But she is doing so well, and these doctors, this family has to go in there and say, hey, this oil that we're getting from a caregiver, a fucking human who's growing a plant, a witch doctor, a medicine man, whatever you want to fucking call him, caregiver in the eyes of the law.
Call him the Pope. He's fixing my kid.
Fixing his kid. And the doctors are like, okay, when do we start holding medical professionals accountable for some of these cancer deaths? This is as close as I've been to seeing foolproof, even people that I've hold close to my heart. It's hard when you don't see the actual process, when you're like, well, it could have been other things. I guess in my head, it's hard to really know what's...
Yeah.
And then you see it this close and what this little girl has gone through, what the family's gone through, and you start to see what this oil can do as an essential medicine, and it makes you question all of their
everything
bullshit.
Everything
we've been told, man.
Yeah.
That's why it ties into who do I want to be. The person who I wanted to be in high school and college is not the person I am today.
Sure.
But I'm so happy with who I am today, so that maybe who I want to be in the future might be something different.
Might look totally different.
But at least
hopefully
I know I'll be going in the right direction, even though a lot of it was vanity. 20s, 18 to 20s, I wanted Wall Street. I wanted money. I wanted status. I wanted all these things. That has totally disappeared from my life. I want truth. I want happiness. That's it.
I get it, man. I get it. Apart from living in Washington State when legalization was rolled out, I wasn't taught about the endocannabinoid system, but one of my oncology supervisors, Dr. Leanna Standish, did teach about psychedelics, her experience, and related research.
Thank God, our scientists and shit have always been into the
You gotta be. I'll tell you what.
realm.
Something that I thought was kind of cool.
Even
the
our
other
tech
day,
people, it's been great.
I was reading this pretty cool deal on Twitter talking about. We posted it from the Hoosier Fisca page, talking about how important psychedelic research is. Not just the research on psychedelics, but the research being
Because-
done
Yeah.
because of psychedelic experiences. We've pretty much, the reason we've mapped DNA and the reason that you right now have hope that we're going to be able to develop an antiviral that could eventually stop this COVID thing is because of a scientist who won the Nobel Prize learning how to essentially clone
so did
DNA,
Obama.
cloning DNA strands en masse so that they could, you can test all of these different.
But he was
strains.
a drug addict. I
Right.
don't understand how
Exactly.
he was able
Man,
to do anything with his life.
It's amazing. Like back in the 50s, I mean, really back all throughout, but really like back in the 50s and 60s when they didn't put the brakes on these different chemical labs and stuff. The things
They didn't even know yet.
The things that the brightest minds in the country were doing, both with and because of psychedelics, is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in science. Fuck, your iPhone is the evolution
Fever
of
dream of a
it was the
a psychedelic
evolution of a
experience.
beautiful day on LSD in the park. Like it is like the end result. So much of this it has come from alternative places, alternative realms of knowledge, and Miss said doctors should absolutely be held responsible. I think one of the biggest issues right now is that doctors know that in some cases chemotherapy works. And so typically not somebody rejecting chemotherapy for, a more holistic medicine, something maybe not quite allopathically, recommended. They're considered being reckless. We have got because cancer is just such a finite thing typically that the fact that chemo works just a little bit proves to be so far like the most effective way, but maybe not. And also, are people with using cannabis alongside chemotherapy, do they have a better chance of beating cancer, or just people just outright using RSO? There's cases on all of these studies. So the reason why they're so, I think, apprehensive to recommend chemo instead of the others is because med schools and the FDA and all of these other people have deemed chemo the best treatment that you can do for it. But we already know it also, more people probably die of the actual chemotherapy and radiation than they do the actual cancer.
Or the cancer coming back in a different place.
So, I think the doctors are apprehensive to do that because then they may be in fucking breach of license.
They're done.
Yeah, they're done.
They're done. If
you start recommending
if John's
something,
doctor would go on record and say cannabis, I'll shout it from the rooftops, he would be destroyed in his profession, everything that he worked for. I mean, he'd be a hero in a lot of people's eyes, but they would probably fucking end up dead, honestly. Like, he'd probably end up being like, oh, the guy fucking fell off in a car accident, fell off a bridge, whatever. Oh, shot. What weirder shit has fucking happened. It's crazy to me and that's something we should be upset about, because last week I mentioned, what to really be upset about. There's so many things being thrown at us. Like, hey, be upset about this, be upset about this, be upset about this. No. There are certain things that we should really be upset about and take one step at a time to try to fix, we're having to learn this shit from trial and error. Mm-hmm. We are putting this in the parents' hands. Mm-hmm. Instead of giving our brightest and best, let the exceptional lead, bud.
Yeah.
Let them do it. Give them the tools. Give them the kit so they can help heal us instead of keeping us barely alive enough to keep paying your bills. Keep feeding the beast. Figure it out let's really take, by now, with all of the anecdotal evidence, they should have studies that's diet, strain, I know strain's kind of a buzzword, or like broadleaf, narrow leaf, these combinations to attack different cancers. And I know it's like, well, Israel's done studies, and I know Dr. Christina Sanchez from Madrid, maybe they've done studies, but it's like, well, these need to be as mainstream as humanly possible. I'm done finding out. I have to get people in touch with Facebook groups about RSO.
I know.
They have to have people travel in the dark of night to help them make oil so they can have enough. Because guess what? To get a lot of oil, you need a lot of fucking weed, man.
Yep, you do.
So we have, and this is another thing, goes back to our opportunity with the rec. You know what I mean? Like, we can really open the doors so we can grow as much medicine as we need to.
I agree with you, bud.
Hey, let's invite Mike back. I feel bad earlier. Let's have him read some.
Read some comments there, Mikey.
Hey, how's it going? Jennifer Barrow replying to John Matthews, Billy Joe Voiles. I absolutely love your passion. Christopher Rachel Crawford replying to Billy Joel.
Billy Joel Butt Camp?
Billy Joel Files. There are
I accidentally turned him off.
here.
Billy Joel Butt Camp. Where did it go?
I don't know. It went so fast.
Did we lose his camera?
No, I hit a button and it went away.
The whole thing moved. I lost my place.
Where'd it go?
Now
Where'd it go? Where'd it go?
I'm gonna. You go ahead and keep on going there.
I had a family member arguing with me today, saying medical cannabis is just a way for potheads to get high. I about lost it. He has seen our whole story.
Wow.
Well, listen. There's always going to be people dragging their knuckles, just unwilling to catch up. You know, I mean, and it's really an unwillingness more than a, Hold on, I want to get to Brian Kessler's question. Do you believe that taking daily CBD full spectrum helps prevent cancers, or does it fall more on the RSO because of the level of THC? From what I understand, THC, the full spectrum effect, they call it the entourage effect, with everything working, THC, all the other cannabinoids, they all have a different effect on the cancer and probably the different type of cancer. If you go to projectcbd.org, it'll have all of the just CBD stories, articles, scientific articles. Like, it's a great resource to have. But I think most scientists who are working with THC or cannabis as a cancer, cure, they need the THC and CBD together. And, we showed it a couple weeks ago after, MoCan BizCon. It was kind of heartbreaking to see Sue Sisley's talk because she's so passionate about it.
Man.
And that's
something else we should be mad about.
They're using literal dog shit.
They are.
So,
they might as well.
It's it's lawn clippings with no trichomes, no fucking. The cannabinoid content is pure garbage, and really the smoking it's probably throwing more fucking carcinogens.
She said she had to come to
with
a
the
point
mold.
Where she goes, do I even give it to these guys? And what does our government do when she starts to complain? They pulverize it so she can't test if it's fucking moldy. There are things we should be upset about. And celebrities is not fucking one of them.
No.
Impeachment's really not fucking one of them. Like, all of these, my guy, her guy, his guy.
Yeah.
People are fucking dying, and not of COVID-19. Like, it's attacking people who are 80 plus. Yes, some people are dying of it, but I'm under the knowledge that all these numbers might be fucked up. If we have a spike in overall deaths, I might believe it at the end.
It's not zero sum. They're both important.
Yeah. Thank you.
They're both important things that we're dealing with. The problem is that we've got people essentially saying we can't do two things at one time. We can't. Right now is as good a time as any.
Yes.
And so the fact that the only federal study for PTSD was done with garbage.
And it didn't turn out that good.
And when it's shown to them that it's garbage, rather than them say, "Ooh, you're right. This is dog shit. Oregon's got a surplus. Okay, we'll enter a contract with Oregon because they can't sell across state lines. The federal government will take the surplus off of their hands so that we have quality medicine to sell or to test. To test. So that is easily doable. The fact that it keeps being shot down and basically undermined by this bullshit process is just to show the fucking who the actors in power are.
She sued and won. Remember,
and the DEA said, "Yep, you won, all right.
We can test in other places." And she goes, "Well, what's the deal?" She goes, "Well, you got to fill out this paperwork, and then it goes to the DEA, and then they have to approve it. So the process is now legal to get it to other places." But now the problem is how to get it from other places to test.
No doubt.
It's everywhere. She could have went out the fucking door of Arizona State University. Was that where she's from? Or University of Arizona?
In Scottsdale.
Yeah. She could have went down the street and been like, "Hey, fucking,
Hey, bud.
Hey, bud.
Hey, bud. Why you being a hoser, bud?"
Yeah, exactly, man. Hello there, bud. Would you... we got a great commercial in the works. I'm a Russian guy. He's a Canadian.
I'm trying to be a Canadian guy. Listen, Bobby Battlehawk is literally trying to crawl out of me. I start talking like a Canadian.
Can't stop.
And then 3 seconds in, I'm talking about broads, man.
Yeah, he's just
I'm talking about broads, dude. I'm
He's
newfies.
a simple dude.
Hey, simple dude. I go for the old how hat trick, man. Newfies.
That song. Let's play that song. We got any final thoughts on weed?
Final thoughts on weed is we have a tremendous opportunity as the cannabis community here in Missouri to come together to really make sure that in 2 years' time, because now we've already seen some of the shortcomings with the medical bill, things that we couldn't have seen when the adult use language was drafted that they were currently asking us to vote on. Okay, so we have an opportunity now to get this right, and the best part about it is it's an opportunity for the family to come back together, for the cannabis.
It's paused. It's probably just her connection.
Oh,
it's buzzing again.
For the cannabis community to, we're good. For the cannabis community to come back together, and remember what this is all about. We all want to be free. I want to appease the guy that's just trying to get high as much, but honestly, if we're being honest, it's more important to me that our medical program is up and running. So while we're working on some new language and bringing the whole house together, let's also be super diligent and super vigilant about how we allow DHSS to move through this and our elected leaders in Missouri to move through this to make sure that our patients are not being left out in the fucking cold. All right?
Yep.
All right.
I'm with you, brother.
All right, man. What do you got, Mike?
My cert, actually. 4420 is when I got my certification for my medical marijuana card.
Right on.
Yeah. Thought I'd throw that out there.
Good stuff, buddy.
Pretty easy.
Bobby it up. They're just Bobby. Dude, man.
We got a song that features Bobby. Should we play that?
All right. So here's the deal. Where do you guys want to go? You guys want to?
Yeah, let's play the song.
You guys like a celebration of the fan page? This is the video. I want you to listen to this, and I want you to any pictures, any moments that you've captured at our live events. Are you like?
Get ready for this, man.
Okay. All right. He's getting worked up. Guys, this is probably one of the coolest fan-made things we've had. I mean, I don't know if we consider Bigfoot Willie a fan or if he's just he's just a thing, dude. Man, he's great. But this right here is one of my favorite things to ever come out of the fan page.
Share this because this song is one of the best songs.
If you guys take a second, this song right here is for the sophisticated Hoosiers. It's called "I Am a Hoosier."
We ain't nothing but everyday people, living our everyday lives, facing our everyday struggles. Yeah, we got different views, we come from different places, we all around different, but we choose to sit at the same table. I know what I am. Do you?
I am a Hoosier.
It's in my blood, it's in my veins.
Sophisticated.
And I ain't ever gonna change.
I am a Hoosier.
It's in my heart, it's in my soul.
Sophisticated.
I ain't afraid to let them go.
We all are Hoosiers.
And together we will stand.
Sophisticated.
Every woman, every man.
What you must know.
Hey y'all, listen to this.
In the sex
Well, maybe it is. We at the Spanish Society jamming all night. If we get way too drunk, then we crashing inside. Cause we all brought a 10 and we knew this could happen when smoke's in the air and the beers are cracking. I'm playing Lorana. I'm knowing my luck is up. Lost all my money. The kids playing Chuck-a-Luck. I'm pretty wasted. I hope they don't kick me out. Now it's a party. Diane got her titties out. Ain't no party like a Southside party. It's in upstairs, downstairs, outside party. We got Craig on the mic. Steve strumming like you can't believe. Brian on harmonica and Angie on the tambourine. When I'm throwing washes, it ain't no more Mr. Nice Guy. We all come together when it counts. Shout out to Vibe Tribe. Hey, Bobby Battlehawk, I hope you like the new song. Wait a minute. Who's that dude with the Daisy Duke song?
Cacao! Cacao! Let me hear your Battlehawk cry. It's the Bobby Battlehawk Show. Dude, man.
Through the highs and the lows, we're the ones you wanna keep close. Through the ups and the downs, we'll be around. Hey, one more time, babe.
Through the highs and the lows, we're the ones you wanna keep close. Through the ups and the downs, we'll be around. I am a Hoosier.
It's in my blood, it's in my veins.
Sophisticated.
And I ain't ever gonna change.
I am a Hoosier.
It's in my heart, it's in my soul.
Sophisticated.
I ain't afraid to let them know.
We are the Hoosiers.
And together we will stay.
Sophisticated.
Every woman, every man.
One thing you must know.
Hey y'all, listen to this.
Well,
maybe it is. We sharing our memes, we sharing our dreams, the drugs that we love and our favorite teams, discussing religion and politics, what we like, what we hate, and everything in between. We watching the show, Monday at 7, we might go to hell, we might go to heaven. Lord forgive me for my sin, I'm in Facebook jail again. Ain't no family like that hoe, so family tell the DJ we got a full house. No, Danny tell him turn it up, crank it up, light it up and dance a bit, then go talk to the boys about the benefits of cannabis, CBD, DMT, they know all about it, bro. Be glad to have a drink for support if you go without it, though. They love to talk and love to listen about anything. No matter what's going on, they about to entertain. It don't matter where you're from, it don't matter where you've been. I heard rumors about this group, pay no attention to them. Yeah, I wasn't sure if I fit in, now it's too late. Wait, what you mean? I already drank the Kool-Aid.
Bud.
Best song I ever heard in my life,
Bud. I want to give our guy
Best
and
song
gal,
I've ever heard in my life, Bud.
Ryan Bradley, Ari Jones. My God. Dude, he sent it to me yesterday. He's like, I'm playing around a little bit. I'm like, you've been doing this for 2 years, right? Like,
started it
you've
the
been
day we
writing
started
this the day that you came to one of our parties.
Yep, he started.
But
I think we started the show.
I think he did it like in 3.5 minutes. He actually did it
Damn,
faster
that
than it
was
took to
good.
record it. It was so good, dude. It was
Dude,
man. That's exactly right, dude. You can put that thing on in the 8-track, dude, and you will be leaving a trail of panties behind you, bro.
That was so good,
dude. It was killer, man. Dang. It was killer. I enjoyed it.
I'm in love with it.
So basically, you put a APB out to the fan page saying, "Hey, we're making an album, an album in quarantine." They're in. Now I got to go back and mega edit my tune.
Nope.
Yeah. That was really good, man. Kudos to you guys. It was terrific, man. It really was.
That was so great. All right, should we hit him with a commercial and come back?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's time for the guys. These are the sponsors, okay? And a way that you can help out the community, give back a little bit. First off, treat yourself to a better insurance experience. Your roof's probably blown the fuck off. It's been crazy with the wind.
Yeah, it totally has.
Truman's and Soulard, guys, we're all coming together. We're trying to support all of our small businesses through this thing.
I got a burger from there.
Oh, Bud.
Oh, made me jizz, Bud.
Oh, Bud. Any mayo on it, Bud?
After I got done with it, there was mayo in my pants.
God. All right, Ari, we love you. That was fucking.
We love you.
That was so good. We'll definitely before we leave, we'll play it again.
It's always
for sure. We got Steve and Jenny wrote a track.
We got
like I said, maybe next week I'll have one ready for you. And Miss and I got an idea for one too. So I love this.
I love this.
I think it's great. Anybody that wants to get in on it, if you need a chance to, if you need some backing tracks or something, get with Steve and I. We'll get something over to you. We love you, Brad.
Love you,
guys.
Brad.
Check out Truman's. Check out Lifetime Roofing. Check out James Carlton State Farm. Check out Sweet Leaf. And motherfucker, check out native hemp. All right? I'm not going to tell you again.
Christ.
I ain't going to tell you again. All right? You get on down here. It's from Pike County, Illinois. All right? Show him, Steve. Go on. Hey, we showed it to our buddy today. And he goes, dude, this packaging, he goes, man, it looks like when they used to like prescribe heroin and shit, man. And I'm like, that's exactly what he was going for. Back when they were putting cannabis indica on the old labels. It's awesome shit, man. Seriously, it's my favorite.
It is.
It's my favorite CBD product I've ever used.
We got Plowboy hooked up with him. He gave a bottle to Brian Kessler.
No doubt.
First responder. He said he likes it. He said it's helping him sleep. He's supposed to shoot us a video and send it to us so we could play on the show.
Yeah.
What do you think happened there?
Probably got busy.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, we're going to hit you with some commercials. We'll be right back after these messages.
Hey, girl, where you want to go?
I don't
Dude,
care,
man,
I
what a
just
great
love you.
Are you hungry? Do you want to get something to eat?
I don't care, I'm kinda hungry.
Well, what sounds good?
Anything sounds good, you pick.
How about some Mexican?
No, I had that for lunch yesterday.
How about we get some Italian food?
Ew.
Okay, now you're not saying anything and just giving me a
I just want
look.
something delicious.
What does that even mean?
I want to sit outside.
Applebee's, son?
Applebee's
No,
is
Applebee's.
gross. I'm not
Applebee's is
eating
good.
Applebee's.
I don't know why you're always
Applebee's
hating
fries
on
are
Applebee's.
disgusting.
Applebee's is one of
They're
my favorite darn
gross.
places to go ever.
I'm not eating Applebee's.
I wanna go to
Truman's. Let's go to Truman's. Soulard, go to Truman's. I wanna go to Truman's. And Soulard, take me to Truman's. We agree on Truman's. I love Truman's. Soulard, I love Truman's. And Soulard. Truman, Truman, Truman,
Truman's and Soulard, a place we can all agree upon.
James Carlton. James Carlton. James Carlton. You gotta get your insurance. Gotta get that State Farm insurance.
You think you found the best insurance agent in the game? Well, I got news for you. I did, and it's James Carlton. State Farm. CarltonInsurance.net. 961-4800.
Hey everybody, I'm just making this post as a little public service announcement. I recently had a roof leak and I got online and called the hashtag Roof Boys. They showed up and they didn't have a truck. They came out of the woods near my home, which was odd. When they showed up, I'm pretty sure they were children. The little one was aggressive. He was beating on my garage. He was shirtless and had a tattoo that said Bug Life. And the older one didn't have a ladder and said he would climb my roof by getting on the pillar, and he was slapping a spatula around, which I don't know what a spatula does for roofing. So if you want a reputable roofer, I recommend you go to Lifetime Roofing and Renovation, located in Webster Grove. They've been around since 2005, and they're grown men.
Hey guys, it's me, Kippy the Crazy Koala Bear, and I'm here to tell you about James Carlton Insurance.
Kids, quiet down.
It's the best.
Kids, quiet down and listen to Kippy.
Grown-ups need insurance, and Uncle James can help.
Right on.
Grown-ups need insurance. He's got the best reviews on Yelp. Grown-ups need insurance if they want to protect their house.
Yes, sir.
Grown-ups need insurance if they want to properly bury a spouse.
That's a bit morbid.
Grown-ups need insurance if they drive a truck.
Okay.
Grown-ups need insurance just so they don't get...
Whoa, Kippy, you can't...
Well, I was just going to say
cannot.
get in trouble.
Okay, well, it
you
sounded
don't
like you
want
were
to
going
get
to
in trouble.
sounded like you were going to say something else. James Carlton, State Farm Insurance. You can find him online at carltoninsurance.net, or you can call him at 314-961-4800.
Welcome back. Ooh.
Welcome back. Welcome
Well,
back.
Steve, we talked a little bit about cannabis.
Yeah, we did.
A lot of bit about cannabis.
We figured it out, man. We figured it all out for these people. It's our time. We're going to put a nice little bill together. And, I was talking about outside earlier and recently that cannabis is a conduit to meet all of these people who are super into psychedelics, man.
No doubt, brother. Let's hit
cool
him with
crowd.
the psychedelic scrapbook, shall we?
What you got for us this big week, big shoots?
Well, I'll tell you what. There's a couple of kind of cool. We're doing our big shoots.
Sorry, I don't know what happened there.
This week, there's been a lot of psychedelic movement, but we're in the middle of quarantine. COVID's got all the attention right now. There's
Zach's trying to get fucking people to look at the moon.
Go check out the moon, or
watch the show.
Or Zach at
Check
9
out the
o'clock,
show.
the moon will still be in the sky.
The zoo will
The zoo will be open too, man.
What's wrong?
What the fuck is the matter with this? Okay, listen. This week in psychedelics,
Yeah, what happened?
it's kind of some cool stuff. There is a Wisconsin doctor, okay, that is lobbying.
Hey, bud.
There's a Wisconsin doctor that is lobbying the federal government to go ahead and expedite psychedelic treatment during the COVID-19 virus.
Sneak that in there?
Well, basically, here's because of how many years MDMA and psilocybin have been tested for safety and efficacy. There is better quality evidence for these psychedelics than the evidence that will be required to approve COVID-19 antivirals. An important difference, however, is the stigma surrounding psychedelics. As we await definitive results from these trials, let us grant temporary approval to psychedelics to protect our healthcare infrastructures and save lives. Right now, COVID-19 is on top of, a very real physical health problem that we're facing in the country. The anxieties that we are all experiencing and the depression that we are all experiencing as a result of quarantine and as a result of tackling a problem. You good? As a result of tackling a problem that we're all facing, we've never faced before. We don't know how to take on this big thing. It's only increasing the amount of mental health anguish that people that could potentially suffer from PTSD, anxiety, and everything. And I just think that the most poignant thing that he said was, think about how safe psychedelics have proven to be physically. Numerous trials, bountiful trials, all of them show that they're not addictive. They're having, and it'll tie into our second story, they're having lasting effects on depression and anxiety.
Acid, bro. I'm just acid trip after
acid trip after acid trip.
I feel like,
give me some more of that. Yeah, I can't wait. No, basically, we're seeing the importance of having to expedite medicine.
Yeah.
We are seeing that it is possible that we can railroad through potential fixes to the healthcare system. These things, we understand that the amount of weight that we're putting on this virus, rightfully so, is calling for an expedition of these drugs. Why are we diminishing the mental health problem that we have in this country, the addiction problem that we have in this country? To me, it is just as important and just as it has to be done like yesterday.
Necessary.
Yes, thank you. It's just as necessary as any antivirals that we would be, doing. Okay, all right.
Delivery.
Oh, good. Look at this. Look at this.
Perfect.
I thought it was awesome. I think it's
That is
I think
awesome.
it's an important discussion to have, and I think that it's awesome that high level doctors, people treating this. I think that it's important that right now, when it seems like everybody has to be pulling in the directions, like we were talking about earlier, we can do 2 things at once. We can do 3 things at once. We have people that are specialized in all kinds of fields.
Put our best fucking minds on it.
Put our best minds on the toughest problems we face, and let's go. The DEA has already approved, sped up trials for MDMA and psilocybin to treat depression. They've already approved that. So let's expedite it even more and start using it to help people through the depression that is, it's.
We're so clinical, bud.
Yeah,
we always
for sure.
want to, and that's good. I think scientists do have to have, obviously, that clinical side. But with psychedelics, it really starts to make you ask who you are, what problems are causing all of these other problems, which sometimes you can be overprescribed Xanax or benzo that makes you not feel, that helps you deal with your problems by not dealing with anything. And we've learned that doesn't work in the long run for some of these cases.
No doubt.
For a majority of the cases, it comes down to figuring out root cause, and nothing opens you up to your root cause bullshit like a I don't want to say tough psychedelic experience. I want to say
challenging.
Challenging. It's a challenge. What, are you going to fucking walk through life, your entire life, without being challenged by anything? Is that who you want to be?
I think that's is that
who you want to be?
When people ask me what is maybe the most important thing I can say to people maybe apprehensive to try psychedelics,
that's the number one reason why they don't want to.
I mentioned it,
Scary.
I think, in a previous psychedelic scrapbook, comfort should not be
your number one
the number one thing that is making you've never experienced your best growth in a comfortable place.
Well, they've been
it just doesn't happen
alongside of drugs like weed and booze in the drug war. So it's like, you do these to have fun. Even some people are like, pills sounds good. Cool, I'm having a great time. It's in a little bit of escape. When I remember I lumped them in with the other drugs. And when I would take mushrooms, I'm like, dude, you're starting to think about all the shit you've done wrong in your life. Like, this is a bad trip. Really, it was me after I was done having fun. It was like, hey, you want to sit quiet and take a look at what's really going on?
Reflect.
I'm like, no, I'm trying to get away from this shit. And psychedelics had the exact opposite effect on me. They made me look at shit which I equated as bad and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I want to be comfortable on the couch watching TV. I don't want to be in the gym doing push-ups, but I know I'm going to get more out of that. It's a balance. And when you get that side of your balance, right now we're way off balance. We're very clinical. We're very much like, this is the way.
Yeah.
You need that ritual, that spirit, that religion.
You need an ethereal perspective, to actually put in this third dimensional fucking thing that we're doing.
Yes.
Nate Bowman said, I tried LSD once. I didn't have to medicate with cannabis for 2 to 3 days after. I believe it, man.
No doubt.
Like I said, I didn't drink for 6 months after I did ayahuasca the first time, and I had no desire to quit drinking. It was just like,
totally
this is just what
called
it
you're
is.
smoking. Like, you smoke a cigarette every once in a while now, to where
no doubt.
Before that you were just kind of a regular smoker.
No
Just
doubt.
fucking,
No doubt. There's that,
one.
and it's actually cut down on my cannabis use too. Like I'm not
I can tell.
nearly as
CBD though.
CBD, it's good stuff. Anyway, I want to segue into the next story because it gets a little bit more specific with psychedelic research. This is kind of cool. Psilocybin, LSD, and ketamine, all given to rats. Basically, psilocybin.
We always talk about the lucky rats versus the
no
unlucky
doubt.
rats. Some are getting like burning makeup put on them. Other ones are getting DMT.
This guy's like, I don't know, man. It's not so bad being a lab rat, man.
It's not terrible.
Essentially, what they did was, first off, psilocybin and LSD proved to be far more effective against anxiety and depression than ketamine did. And why I think that why I think this study is important is ketamine, or at least its isomers, esketamine, are FDA approved for depression. Okay,
Yeah.
so
is ketamine derived from peyote?
No, ketamine, no. MDMA has some similarities to like a San Pedro. It's a heart medicine, and it works off of. That's basically what Sasha Shulgin he wanted to give the heart opening experience of, cactus medicine without quite as much anxiety.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay.
I knew
so,
there was some. Okay.
But ketamine itself, and it's not really classified as a classic psychedelic because it doesn't play off of the 5-HT receptors like psilocybin and LSD do. So I thought this was pretty interesting. So basically what they did was they had rats, and they put rats into a maze, and then they put them into an open space. And rats do not like being in open spaces. Typically, they'll run back into the corners. They'll get back into the maze, whatever.
Hawks and shit, man.
Yeah, for sure. You don't want to be out in a field,
You don't wanna be out in a field.
So basically, it was given to rats before being subject to a range of tests that measured their levels of depression and anxiety over the next 5 weeks. Psilocybin and LSD showed reductions in anxiety and depression for the entire 5 weeks, suggesting a one-off treatment generates lasting decrease in anxiety and depression. The effect didn't diminish for either. So basically, after 5 weeks, the same amount of lowered measured depression and anxiety that was in the rats was there for all 5 weeks. Okay. Now, with that being said, it didn't diminish at all. They didn't lose any of it whatsoever. With that being said, psilocybin worked far greater than LSD did. Okay. Now, ketamine, on the flip side, displayed reductions in anxiety and depression for the first 2 weeks, but by the next week, it was completely gone. Suggesting, by week 3, the improvements completely disappeared, suggesting the antidepressant was more transient in nature. So it's one of those things that would have to take, which also might make a little bit more sense as to why our health officials might pass something like ketamine created in a lab that could use some kind of lasting use. That's not to speak ill of ketamine, because I do think.
You're addicted to it. How can you speak ill of it?
No, but I do feel like it does make you feel physically lighter after the experience. Maybe, I think in the moment, this is subjective, anecdotal, in the moment, I think like right outside of the experience, it's like, everything's just kind of real level. I get that very much too. After a long psilocybin or LSD trip, it's typically the next day. Ketamine, it's like as soon as you come out of it, it's a much shorter trip.
Yeah.
But the shorter trip also has shorter lasting effects. Clearly, it looks like, after a couple days' time, it was all, it all went away. I thought I had a second piece of that. Basically, what they did was, in order to find out, they put these rats in this open space, okay, and then. What happened was, it wasn't so much them taking LSD or psilocybin and being placed into this open space. It wasn't so much that like just taking it made them more likely to explore, but each day they did it, and then as it became a part of a routine.
Yeah.
Then by the day 5, they were just kind of exploring all the way around. Ketamine didn't have that effect on them whatsoever, even the first day. They didn't. And if anybody has experience with ketamine, it's not. Some people like to move around on it, I guess, but it's a little bit easier to stumble through.
Rats, right? What's a rat's mortal enemy? The owl. You get an owl all tripped out.
Put an owl on PCP.
Yeah, you get them tripped out over here in this one, and you put him in a situation kind of like the rat. Put him in an uncomfortable situation. He gets comfortable with it. You have these rats who have also done the mushrooms. They're chill with it. You get a regular rat. Never been on mushrooms. Owl. Never been on mushrooms. Put them in the same room. You know what's going to happen. Yumpy.
Yeah, that seems gladiatorial.
Okay.
Or executionary, I guess.
You get the mouse and the owl who have done mushrooms together. They come into the studio. They end up opening a yoga studio.
No doubt. They got a drum circle.
They got a drum circle. They're fashioning their own clothes. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see that experiment. The owl and the rat who have both done psilocybin mushrooms together.
But tying that back into the first story, the reason why I think it's most important is, once again, you've been shown a substance that the government has approved for depression.
Yeah.
That is being circulated. There's a clinic here in town. There's clinics wherever you're at in the state. There's a clinic probably fairly near. Okay. That's been legalized. Okay. Now, side by side with comparable substances, they're doing far better. And we know just from going to the psychedelic symposium that ketamine, of all of them, and it's a dissociative. It's not psychedelic, but it's certainly a psychedelic experience. We know that it does of all of the psychedelics, dissociatives. It is one that shows a potential for abuse. Like you could continue to use ketamine. There are people that have issues with ketamine, like wanting to, they're doing it constantly, which is not the case with psilocybin or LSD. So
I told you, dude.
Once again, just tying it back to the same one, they've already expedited MDMA and psilocybin for depression. There's a reason why we should push this forward. As the world goes through a pandemic, are you going to look me in the face and tell me that psychedelics are a great risk to my health when I've been trapped in my home because of something I can't quantify? I can't quantify a fucking virus.
Nope.
You know what I mean? And
when you're getting the data, it's tough to fucking quantify. And they're supposed to be giving you all the data, bud.
Yeah.
How easy is it to
manipulate data?
Or in the days of Facebook, it's like, oh, click like on the poll, cool. Like, how hard is it for these companies to upload data? They're already getting it in so many ways. They should be fucking experts at collecting data, and they're not. Should we sum up the psychedelic talk?
Yeah, I think the summary is it's a really weird place to be when the government is picking and choosing. This ties into cannabis as well. It ties into the fact that fucking Sue Sisley's testing grass clippings. The government is picking and choosing what is effective and what isn't, and it is directly in the face of science.
Yep.
If they're going to tell us that we got to stay in our homes because science says so, and I agree with them. Well, the science is telling you something about cannabis, and the science is telling you something about psychedelics, and the fucking story that you've been running out for 5 decades ain't getting it anymore. The labs have shown the labs showed before you did it that you were full of shit.
Yep.
Now is the time. If we can get through a fucking pandemic together, if we can get through a mass culling together, God damn it, we can take a step forward in our fucking cognitive fucking understanding of this multiverse. And we can fucking actually treat the mental health crisis, nip it in the bud. We can treat it at its source rather than trying to just dump a bunch of fucking pills on it that ultimately lead to more and more pills. It's a never-ending cycle that to pad the Sacklers' pockets, like, you know what I mean? Like we're at a point where actually this can be a unifying experience. It certainly hasn't been, but I think that events like this are, in a big picture, just a part of this cataclysmic moment, this catalyst for evolution, right? And we're going to look at it and we're going to be like, oh, that was all part of this whole, like, people became awake to all of these things that government were doing so inefficiently. They were so distracted by all of this shit that government shouldn't even be doing in the first place. They didn't know how to fucking respond when someone ate a bat.
I know, dude.
You know what I mean?
They knew how to respond to, and they failed. They fucking failed. No, to sum up psychedelics, from where I'm sitting and hearing these articles and listening to the Max Montrose podcast again, the Missouri Psychedelic Podcast. I started it. Well, I just started it over because I never finished it. What an awesome podcast.
Thanks, man.
To hear from such an intelligent guy.
No doubt.
And then Max was there too.
Oh, look at you go.
No, but
Dude,
to hear
man.
Max tell stories, and this guy is fucking brilliant.
Man, the way he talks about weed is, I've got his tools in there. Maybe we'll just show that off to the crowd here in a little bit, because the way he talks about cannabis, I've never heard anybody talk about cannabis. We've got a lot of friends in cannabis, a lot of really smart friends in cannabis.
No doubt.
He's just got away with delivery, man.
He's great. And psychedelics and getting into that world from the cannabis space, we are strong. We're 2,500 strong, more if you count like on the business and other ways and other friends and connections that you have. We're the ambassadors of the new way here. We are spreading the detailed facts of how cannabis and psychedelics are helping heal the trauma that this nation has faced. We've looked at trauma-based diseases, or trauma-based reactions. We've looked at them and tried to throw pill after pill after pill at them. We're figuring out that no, you can treat these at source. You can come back home. You can do it. We're all trying to get home. We're all walking each other home. It's time to figure out the absolute best way to do that. Who am I? Who am I going to be? What's the best way to walk each other home?
I love it, man.
All right. You want to hit him with some more? Let's hit him with a song and some commercials.
Yeah, I think we ought to take them to a simpler time, Steve. Big hair, tight pants, and schoolyard love, man.
Man, this is, I know the people who made this song. I forget their names right now because we just named it like in the spur of the moment. But Jen and I making this song, we laughed our asses off, dude. You get it. You know how it is.
I get it. I really can't wait until Miss and I sit down and do it, just because it's gonna be great.
Jen was so fun to put it. She'd come down with a new thing like, should I wear this lipstick? I'm like, fuck yeah, you should. Like, it was great to have a partner who added something,
I get it, bud. I get it, bud.
You know.
Yeah, I wrote a song in like an hour. I get it, bud.
So it's just really cool for us to do. We were bored, and we wanted to make just the dumbest lyrics, 80s song, just easily danced to. And I think it was a pretty big success in our own eyes.
I agree.
We got a lot of laughs, memories at it. I can't wait till my kids 20 years from now maybe find this and go, what? My dad really was into mushrooms and shit.
I forgot about this until you just said that. And apparently Miss was driving our daughter home, back to her dad's. Yeah. And it was playing, and they were listening to it in the car, and she's looking at it on her phone. And she goes, so is this Hoosier Sophisticate? And Miss goes, well, yeah, it's part of Hoosier Sophisticate. She goes, and this is why you and Craig are so popular? And Miss is like, among other things, yeah.
That was part of it. I mean, I was like,
hey, would it make it better if it was on TikTok?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would.
Bullshit. All right, we're going to hit you with our video, then some commercials, and we'll be right back after these messages, huh?
You just went bud.
How about
you just
that,
went
bud?
past it, bud.
Did I do, bud?
You were down there, bud. Yeah.
Down in the schoolyard, because the schoolyard is where all the love
Some
is.
people might know me and Julio down by the schoolyard. This is not that song. This is not that song, but it's one of my favorite songs.
He's the strongest one. He's the coolest one. He's the strongest one. He's the coolest one.
The strongest one in the schoolyard. The coolest one in the schoolyard. He's the strongest one in the schoolyard. He's the coolest one in the schoolyard.
Falling in love again in the schoolyard. Again I'm falling in love again in the schoolyard. I'm falling in love again.
Fell in love in the schoolyard. She's looking at me oh so hard. In the schoolyard we don't play games. In the schoolyard it's not about fame. In the schoolyard you fall in love. The schoolyard is all of my love. When you fall in love in the schoolyard, you fall in love in the schoolyard. About dreams. And the schoolyard is not as it seems. In the schoolyard is where we fall. But don't forget who you are.
Hey, boys and girls, I'm talking about native hemp extract. That CBD.
That CBD.
Inside of me.
Inside of me.
That CBD.
That CBD.
Sweet delicious CBD. That CBD.
That CBD.
Got the CBD. CBD native hemp. That CBD.
That CBD.
You can get it from me.
I can.
That CBD.
That CBD.
Inside of me.
Inside of me.
That CBD.
That CBD.
Inside of me.
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 No. Inside of me.
Inside of me.
Inside of me.
Native hemp extract. 1,800 milligrams of total cannabinoid goodness from Pike County, Illinois. Get yours at HooterSophisticate.com.
Hey girl, where you wanna go?
I don't care, I just love.
James Carlton. Insurance 314-961-4800.
Handsome,
Amazing.
astonishing,
Astounding.
fabulous,
Incredible.
fantastical,
Phenomenal.
prodigious,
Stupendous.
unbelievable,
Wondrous.
divine.
Fantastical.
No, seriously, he's fantastical.
You got a house.
Go on and get it insured.
You got a car.
You gotta get it insured.
You got a life.
Go on and get it insured. CarltonInsurance.net.
Fantastical. Stupendous. Fantastic.
Do you take our insurance and are you cannabis friendly?
Yeah.
And they all said no. And then at that last phone call, that 8th phone call, I was like, do you know anybody that is? I'm desperate. I've called 7 other people. You're my 8th phone call.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm crying my eyes out. And this lady just felt bad for me and said, hold on, let me call you back in a few minutes. And they called me back and they said that they would take him, but under a certain amount of conditions. And the main condition was that if they felt that cannabis was not working for him, then they would take him from us and put him in and Child Protective Services, and then they would take the other 2 kids too.
Oh,
because they were both underage.
Then
and we would be charged with child endangerment.
So they'd go to federal prison.
Yeah, we would go to federal prison. So we said, bring it on.
Come to Pruitt's, I got good fries.
This is one of the best Cubans. I try a Cuban everywhere I go. And this is one of the best damn Cubans I've ever had. And we've got a little white cheddar mac here with a little cracker mac. Life-changing, incendiary.
Everywhere I go, I try the Cuban. This time I didn't. I got the
grilled cheese bacon burger.
Look at that thing.
With put some pepper jack on there, some jalapenos. And we got some crinkle fries. And all I can say is, oh baby, grow baby.
As you can see, this was once a delicious plate of coconut scrimps, and I devoured it. And if I had to say, if I had to give it a review real quick, I'd say it's an orgasmic feast of the senses.
And I love meat.
The tensile pain.
See ya at Truman's, guys.
Welcome back, everyone. Yeah, I miss Seth Gabriel too. Hi, buddy.
I miss Seth.
There you are. We all miss Seth. We were actually wondering what Seth was doing today.
Oh, fuck that guy.
Steve-O, you posed a question. I think it's one quite worthy of discussion, my friend. And there's been some posts about it. There's some memes going around. I do think that people are trying to find. The best thing about this is that people are searching for the good in everything, and that is such an incredible way to live life. To look for, you know, what Mr. Rogers say, like when in times of tragedy, look for the people running towards it. You know, there is a good story going on at all time. The people in the medical field right now, holy fuck, superheroes.
I guess.
You know, the nurses and people on the front line that are in the middle of it.
They can be both things. They can be horrible monsters who don't give people cannabis to save their cancer too. So they can be both things. Everything is duality.
Well,
everything is all things. I'm not saying we shouldn't do that. I'm saying we've got so caught up in our own rah-rah America's #1 bullshit. And that shit ends. Like, and if you say something like that, they're like, you fucking don't like America? No, I love America so much that I expect the best out of them. Like, they're my own fucking kid. Like, hey, man, we're better than this. We haven't stopped the virus. We are moving so slow on these cannabis laws and psychedelic laws. It's making me lose faith in us as a country. I've asked over the years, what does it mean to be an American as our generation? What the fuck does it mean to be like,
buddy.
well, we're just the fucking kind of the best. We're just kind of the best at everything.
Oh, man.
No, we're fucking not. We're way down on the list of a lot of things. And it seems like when a pandemic would break out, America would be #1 in all aspects of finding a vaccine, in saving its people, in giving the correct data out there, in having the best minds, in leading by being exceptional. And we have fallen so far from that. We've gotten so comfortable. It makes me question who I am. Who do I want to be? And who I want to be is someone who is happy, because it's like, who do I want to be? Someone who at my funeral people are super sad, but no, I also want people to celebrate at my funeral because one day I'm going to die. I want to be a person that people have stories about, but I also don't want to be an asshole. You know, I want to be someone who's remembered, but I also don't want all of the attention all the time. I want all of these things. I want my kids to know I did my best. I want my wife to think, God, I'm lucky. You know, I want all these things. It makes me think of what I wanted before, which was a lot of material things, a lot of things that I thought brought status, a lot of things that I thought were important at the time. And now I realize that, you know, I mentioned it earlier, that truth is something I'm constantly trying to seek now. And psychedelics have pulled the veil off things. Cannabis pulls the veil off some things for people, for me even,
Sure.
you know. And being able to question who I am and have time to think about that, because usually I wake up in the morning like, man, who am I? Oh, I'm the dude who has to get up and do the job and do the thing that I have to do and get the kids and do the thing and move on and do what I'm supposed to do and not really think too deep about much. Right now, we have an opportunity again to think deep. That's the least, there's a meme going around. One meme says, if you don't come out of this, you didn't lack time, you lack discipline and hustle. And then someone crossed that out and said it's a privilege. Some of us aren't as privileged to have this time to learn a new skill. I agree with almost all things, even if one meme says one thing and another meme says the exact same thing, because duality, again, usually both things can be right. All things can usually be right in some instances of the measure. But the base level of what you can do is lay in your bed at night, turn off the TV, and just people meditate, and they say meditation is so hard because my mind races. Good. Feel that. Where's your brain going? Well, it's going to anxiety and worry. Good. Follow the rabbit. Go down the hole. Why are you anxious? What are you anxious about? Take a deep breath. Slow the heart down. That's practice. That's practice for when you start getting anxious. Well, I've been through that. Instead of shooting shots like my son practicing wrist shots, I'm practicing getting anxious and culling the nerves. Like, that's what we're doing as humans. And living in the moment now and thinking about the path you want to take and what kind of good you want to put out there. That is the deal. That's who I realized I want to be. I want to be someone who makes people laugh and think. I want to be someone that my peers can look up to now. Before, I did not give a fuck. I was like, whatever. Now I realize with the pulpit that we have, it's a conduit to people's hearts, man, and just presenting them with the new idea. I want to be a guy who brings new ideas to the table, to the genre of life.
I dig it, man. I dig it. Just to kind of, you connected a couple points there. You said, you questioned who you were as an American, who we are as an American. You figured, we used to be the best, or we are the best, or we posit to be the best. I think that the first healthy step there is detaching yourself from your nationality. I can be proud to be an American because it's the only reality that I know. I was born an American. We saw a lot of prosperity through exceptionalism and for letting the exceptional lead the way. We create a place where people come from all over the world to do business here because this is the place that anybody can become something.
And if you talk to a lot of times it's Uber drivers. I'll have conversations with Uber drivers from across the world. And they're like, oh, America's tight as fuck.
Yeah.
They're like, it's fucking good. You work your ass off here, you can get where you need to go.
We suffer a little bit from just having the perspective of, just
That's
being
good to
inside.
think
But more so than that, I think that's what ultimately led to my idea of being an American, which was like always preserving my personal liberty, like the founding ideas that there was no place in the world before this where people could just come and realize their best life with minimal government involvement. And I understand as we have evolved as a society and as all of the, global commerce.
What do you know?
Yeah. There might be some. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe the Ferengis are, hustling
it's
shit.
the Dave Chappelle joke about George Washington. He's like, yeah, George Washington is the worst. He's like, everybody's created equal. Now go churn some butter.
Yeah, for sure.
So there's always.
Well, and I feel like, listen, not to excuse anything, but you do have to look at things as they happened in the scope of time. Okay. First off, that scenario wasn't exclusive to America. It was, if anything, brought to America from I don't know, existing everywhere else in the world. It doesn't excuse it, but it's certainly.
But we were supposed to be like the first free place.
But as people, right? No doubt. no doubt. And like there
Since
wasn't
Greece,
even like
we're the first real democracy.
Which even then, Greece has got all the house slaves, right?
Yeah.
So, but they were like
You seen
spoils. They were
Spartacus?
treated as spoils of war. Anyway, the idea for me was like, oh, if I actually believe in, what this whole idea is, the idea of America to me, and I think we're very far removed from it, but I can still live that reality, live my best life, try and use all of the channels available to me. Understand that every transaction that I enter into is voluntary. I'm not being forced to work for anyone. I'm not being forced to buy anything from anyone. I get to choose those things, and by those choices, I become my own sovereign little nation. That's the idea, the sovereignty of the individual. And so I think that it's super healthy to be like, ooh, I've been told that this is the American dream. Blah, blah. Well, maybe that's the issue. Maybe the issue is that the world that was painted on being an American or on America itself was just as tired and as fucking binary as the conversation is today, just 100 years removed.
Yeah.
It's easy to say, oh, the greatest generation. Well, they had a radio station. And the radio station just told everybody what the truth was, and everyone's like, "Well, fuck. I guess we gotta all just do this." We gotta all okay. Now it's bread lines, and it's fucking we're making ammo. Okay, this is what we do now. It's not that easy anymore. The world, all of us have created our own little systems. Our own little systems that we live in, and they fit inside like a Russian doll into a municipality, into a county, into a state, into the country. And also by world actors,
neighborhood, into your family,
yes,
into yourself.
Yes, it all starts with a little village like this, and then all of the little villages that are created off of our friends. We talk about all the time, concentric circles. It's so intertwined now, and there are so many people, so many points of view, so many different experiences of life where people vilify other points of view without really thinking about the fact that it's a real thing that exists for somebody that is existing it. Like it might, the way that you approach those problems might look different from both sides. But the one thing you have to come together on is the fact that, like, silly analogy, big city centers, big metropolitan areas, there's a stigma that, like, they carry most of the population of states. Why should people in the county with all of this land, why should they have equal say? And, all of these things. And it's like, but then you flip over to the people in the county and they're like, oh yeah, they can, not county, country. And they'll be like, oh, they can live in the city if they want. This is just like what my idea of happiness has always been. And I don't, like the rules say that, like, I'm okay here. Yeah. I don't want to vote to change those rules. That doesn't sound fair to me at all. But there's, and the people in the city centers have a valid point.
Sure.
The point is that we're if we're all living our best true selves, it's impossible for all of us to move. I don't know if it's impossible. It's highly improbable all of us move in the same direction because we have what's the word? We have a parimutuel existence where people are always betting the pass line, or they're betting the don't come bet, or they're betting the don't pass.
Yeah.
They're betting craps. Some people are betting, on 7 or 11, and that's that's how this thing works. The winners and losers that kind of. We don't have a system where each person has, just is a cog in the wheel. It doesn't work like that. Yeah. Otherwise we're placing people in servitude. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Robots.
We're fucking robots. And guess what? We're not going to be as efficient at being robots as robots.
Yeah.
So we have to celebrate the individual. And I think that you being like, oh, fuck, what does it mean? Well, let go of the idea of what you've been taught it is to be an American and dig a little deeper. What was the idea of being an American before all of these people who we don't trust, by the way, told us it was something different? What was the original idea?
Yeah. No doubt. And it made me think of something else, that our input has changed. You mentioned people before being fed kind of what's up?
I want to read this real quick.
Please do it.
The Spanish Society Outreach, formerly the Vibe Tribe, is working with Four Hands Brewery to supply hand sanitizer to essential workers here in St. Louis. If you know workers that may need this service, please message Brian Kessler on Facebook. Let's keep the community safe and healthy. Fuck yeah. Shout out to the Spanish Society Outreach and shout out to Four Hands, man.
They're our newest sponsor too. We just want to fucking help the community fucking keep their hands clean of semen. And okay, so the we were talking about help me about what was I on? I was on something fucking good, bud.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. We got it. Where are we at here? We're at 1:45. What was the last thing you said?
Well, I was just talking about how it's okay to start celebrating the sovereignty of the individual.
Input. The thing about input back then for input back now, you think about how many people were living very similar lives.
Mm-hmm.
The input that went into the human in 1900 and 1800, very similar input. You mentioned one radio station, one source of input, one source of TV in the 30s, you know, and one source of one movie, one little bit of input in our little human brain. We had books and we're learning different things and not much input from people even traveling around, you know. Now the individual's input is massive.
Oh, dude.
Our children have been already exposed to more input than we probably ever have. It's crazy the amount of input. I wonder if that amount of input separates us even further, but by separating us makes us stronger if we can all learn different paths and realize that your reality, what you're living, your best self, the road that you're on, you've collected all these little data points along your road about ayahuasca, and that's why I tried to get you into my world. And you have these little things about Floyd, and I wanted to know more about music, and you taught me about the Avett Brothers, things that you had picked up along the way that binded us.
No doubt.
Me playing, you know, baseball with my dad, we fucking bonded on that. That was something, my data point I picked up along the way. We're picking up all these little data points. I wonder if the input binds us. It separates us, but it also makes us stronger because we're all evolving so much more that when you get more evolved communities together, you can make more things happen.
We talked about that in the Gospel of Luke a little bit, just about how, you know, if we are the universe experiencing itself, it takes all of us to live as unique of a sliver of that spectrum in order to make that spectrum whole, in order to complete that hologram, right? Like in order to make the projection whole. Every single perspective, every single new experience that each individual has is the universe learning. And as it learns, another piece of the jigsaw puzzle completes. That's how I look at it.
You've played video games recently? Oliver has hockey and I've seen baseball, and these characters are so real, and you put more input into the character. When does the character get so good that the character thinks they're conscious and having decisions made?
Oh.
Because they think 2045 that AI will be there at the point where it is stronger than all human connection brains, which I actually did see a rebuttal argument that because humans have created this, it could never reach the point that we think it could get. Because
if we figure out quantum computing, it can.
And they're real close.
They're
real close.
So
and then like that's the 5G. Another thing too, they think that's going to help with the Internet of Things. That's the whole
idea
thing behind 5G, because everything's going to be running off the internet. Everything. Eventually, it's deep thoughts, man.
I don't know.
We got a lot of time to fucking.
We went off on a tangent there as we were talking about the things we're gonna be grateful for at the end of this. What we're gonna look for the good in this situation.
All this art.
I think that people are going to like. There's gonna be a lull in movies, right? For like a 6-month period from Hollywood. There's probably got some stuff in the can, but there's gonna be a lull in Netflix productions and all this stuff, but there's going to be a boom of music and different forms of digital art, there's going to be a massive renaissance. I truly, I mean, dude, I sat down for the first time in my life and did something that I've wanted to do forever. And I didn't think I could do it. Like
And
when
this
I
song
started
is so
it,
good.
when I started it, I'm like, this just doesn't fucking work. I can't figure it out. And then and then all of a sudden I just heard a melody and I'm like, well, I'll be goddamned. It's not that hard once you figure that part out.
Yeah.
And it has inspired me to, I've listened, I'm trying to find tracks like only because it's fucking fun. And do I think I'll ever release a hit record? No, but I'd sure like to write a song that somebody can record on a hit record.
Oh, for sure. That's super cool.
And I think that's going to happen. I think you're going to find, dude, Ryan Bradley just
Schoolyard is a hit.
It's a
hit.
It's a fucking hit, bud.
It's so Ryan Bradley's song.
It's so good. That plays, dude. That plays.
He's a genius, dude.
That plays, and if
legit.
you get the joke, you get the joke, man.
All right, Mike, you got any thoughts on that, bud?
No, not really.
Okay, fair enough.
You got any thoughts tonight, Mike?
No, I mean, I do have my next Netflix pick.
Oh,
wanna
well,
get
then
into
you know
Netflix?
what?
You know what time it is?
You know what time it is, Mike?
We like movies, so do we. We like internet, so do you. It's the streaming picks of the week, and it's the streaming picks of the week. It's the streaming picks of the week. We like the internet too. We like the internet too. We like the internet too. You like the internet too. We like the internet too.
What are you watching this week, bub?
I watched something that changed my life, man, and it was the Dave Chappelle Mark Twain thing. I know you're going to talk about that.
No,
too.
we're both going to talk about it, and then we can get into our other
okay,
picks.
Okay, because I did watch Kareem and Coffee, and I don't want to steal Mike's if that was
Nope,
okay.
it wasn't.
I thought it was absolute dog shit. Absolute.
Okay, well, you're saving me
dog
because I almost
shit.
caved and watched it. Like the trailer didn't do much for
Few
me.
funny parts. Ed Helms just is not lovable to me.
I like Ed
I
Helms.
like him too, but
Yeah.
in this movie, I couldn't find him lovable. Everything's kind of forced. The kid needs to be loved. Cop and a Half.
Yeah.
I'd murder someone for the kid in Cop and a Half. Give me some milk.
Right.
In a dirty glass. You know what I mean? Like, that kid was lovable.
Yeah. Oh, dude, role models.
I didn't like that kid.
That kid was great.
He was great,
He's
but
an
he
asshole.
wasn't lovable.
I loved him because he was an asshole.
Listen, this kid in Kareem and Coffee wishes he was the kid from Role Models.
Yeah, I think so.
Because the kid from Role Models did his job
He
well.
slayed it. Yeah, he did
his
the
job
role
well.
what was written for
Yes,
him.
he did it pretty well.
Unlike that fucking Canadian fucking cocksucker.
He couldn't get his shit together.
Hoser.
Oh, hoser, man. The movie was horrible. Jen, we watched it. Jen was in disbelief of how bad it was. Had a few funny. There is a bright spot. Oh, there are 2 or 3 of the funniest characters in a movie I've seen in a. Remember, I forget what movie it was. Maybe Zach and Miri make a porno where that guy's name is, my name's Horse Dick Mpeg. And it's like, it was just one shining moment in a movie. Or when I think Jay from Jay and Silent Bob's like, I can get a boner and I can make it stand up real straight, real on cue. And they just watch it and he fucking gets a boner.
I didn't mind Zach and Mary. It was fine.
Okay, but it had, like, I remember there was a few movies that just had one moment. There's a group of these guys who are like gangsters in Detroit, and their relationship with each other is just, they got great back and forth. Like, she's like, hey, this guy's out. You're the leader of the gang now. And he's like, thank you so much. I actually have been talking to my peers earlier. They've been giving me a lot of crap lately. And I said, I'm ready for a leadership position. And it's these gangbangers, you know, dude. They're just like typical, but they're so eloquent. Like the way it's probably racist shit now that I think about it. But it's good. It's good. Their comedic roles are beautiful, sir. So that was a bright spot. It was horrible. Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle is... I started to look up more Mozart stuff because of Dave Chappelle. The jokes in this thing are amazing. He wins the Mark Twain Award, and
Gave me a 30-year
who
goal,
he is help. I was thinking about who I want to be, and then watching that, I was like, wow, you start asking yourself questions, you might watch something that helps give you a fucking answer, man. What'd you think about it?
I thought it was incredible. Yeah. I was so fucking into it. I think one of my favorite, funniest jokes ever was told with Keenan Thompson, Michael Che, and I cannot think of
Colin Firth.
It's not Colin Firth. Colin something. The white kid
Hanks.
from SNL. It's not Colin Hanks either. He's definitely not him. He's got the kerchief business.
Okay, go on.
Anyway, that was one of my favorite jokes ever. So much so I told you, I was
Jost.
like, buddy, Colin Jost. Yes.
Thank you, Brain.
Nice
Good
job.
job, Brain.
Good job, bud.
Chris Long.
Chris Long. Look at you. You're on fire today.
CBD, I swear to God, that
No
shit
doubt.
makes it click.
No,
Not
CBD,
even fucking joking
inside
around.
of me.
Inside of me.
Inside of me. Anyway,
yeah.
I thought that was one of the funniest jokes ever. Hearing other and I love hearing comedians fawn over other comedians. I love when you hear a guy talk about like a comedian's comedian. I've always loved Dave Attell. He's one of my favorite comedians of all time. And like a lot of times people will be like, who's the guy?
Sure.
Who's the guy working that's just, and they're all like, Dave Attell's got a different set every night. Like,
and he's fearless.
Fearless. For a while, Louis C.K. was that dude where he was getting them all. I think that Dave has reached. There's a reason why he won the award. I mean, it looks when you look at past winners, and there's certainly some very deserving people.
Who were
in
some
there,
of the past winners?
I think Bill Murray was one.
yeah.
Richard Pryor.
Eddie Murphy.
I don't think Eddie Murphy got one. That's one of the one of the interesting things. I was like, there's some giants in comedy. I think Richard Pryor was the only one that was like a stand-up. Like Dangerfield didn't get like
Gallagher.
No, Gallagher did not, and that fucking kind of it peeved me a little bit, cheesed me, bro.
Carrot Top.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, Carrot Top was the
Last
first
year.
inductee. Yeah, unanimous vote. Anyway, just seeing some of the names, like it was so cool to see him there because. I think you asked the other day on the page, or somebody did, like, who's your favorite stand-up of all time? Or maybe you asked me last week.
Yeah.
I'm like, but it's hard not to say Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
I mean, Killing Him Softly it's a staple. It's our generation's Raw. Eddie Murphy Raw. Like, and I think even far funnier. His cadence is amazing. But hearing that he was doing this in high school and killing, like going up to New York and absolutely slaying, and then now, we forget. Because now he's getting these awards and he's come back with 3 specials since he's been back. We forget he was gone for 12 years, dude. He was gone for 12 years. Prime years. Real prime years. And I don't know that applies so much to comedy, but especially to a guy like him. But when he came back, it was just like, I think it's so important the message he's putting out there, something that we just talked about, which is like, you find what it is, to be you, to be an American, to be whatever. You find what that is. And he talks about the comedy club being the last bastion of the First Amendment.
Well, you can fucking say whatever.
Fucking say shit and laugh about it because that's cathartic and it's healing, right? And it doesn't have to be divisive. Yeah. And the more we hide it, the more the more we push it into the shadows, the more nefarious it is.
Yeah.
Rather than just get these fucking crazy, goofy thoughts out in the open. And then learn to love each other through that shit.
Yeah.
Like that's the deal. Like we have gotten to a point where we hate people or we think we identify as somebody who can't like a person because they don't think the same way as us. And I appreciate that the funniest person in the world has made that the question, the problem to answer, right? Because I think that that's one of the most important things that we face is right now just how we talk to one another, how we communicate with one another, how we co-create with one another, how we love one another.
Yeah.
And I think that Dave Chappelle is the perfect person to carry that in because there's a whole new generation of woke comedians and I appreciate them. It's fine. I think that comedy is a thing that always pushes the envelope, and so you talk about societal norms in a way that it's funny, but it's also kind of funny to have somebody and sobering to have somebody from the old guard be like, yeah, that's great, but we're still here, and it's not. You're still seeing the world through a 25-year-old's eyes, Live to be 45 and just see if your perspective's changed a little bit. Hopefully it has. Maybe not more conservatively. Just hopefully it's changed. Hopefully you haven't held on to the same firm beliefs for fucking your whole life.
Yeah,
and
never
never
like
had
Malala.
or maybe. I don't know. You don't know what she's into. Anyway,
I think she's 18.
I went off on a tangent there, but I feel like Dave Chappelle is attacking that thing. Like
yeah, no doubt.
He is a defender of the First Amendment.
Two things to add to that, and maybe a little bit of a spoiler, but I do want to give one anecdote and one main message that he was trying to say at the end, just in case people don't watch it. I want them to get this out of it. He said, comedy is one of the most honest and most important genres in the artist world. And he said, everybody who thinks any type of different way, you have a gladiator in the ring. You have a guy who's talking shit with the best in the world. And he says, we as comedians, he goes, I know this comedian next to me is racist as hell. He goes up there, tells a bunch of racist jokes, and everybody's laughing. He goes, oh shit, this guy actually means it. You know, like, goddamn. They go back to the green room, have a conversation. They almost respect each other's art and say, well, this made me think this way, and I'm starting to think, oh, this is why you were thinking this way. Maybe think about things like this. Oh, shit, and they're having a beer together while the people in the crowd are fighting. He's like, we sit here and watch you guys, because I've had so many people staring back at me laughing over the years that when we stare back at you and you guys are fighting, we're all having a laugh with each other, like that's not going to divide us just because he fucking thinks something different.
Right.
Like even the worst thing.
It's like a
and the second anecdote was the Aziz Ansari
He was
story.
great.
He goes, and we talk about creating moments with people. And he said, you going to be the dude who does shrooms with Dave Chappelle before he wins the award? Or are you going to be the guy who got enough sleep?
Dude, I almost stood up from my couch. I was so fucking juiced.
Some grade A jokes in the whole thing, too.
Really good jokes. All the comedians and actors that came out, like some really heartfelt shit, too, that like really just put everything in perspective.
Oh, we got problems with YouTube.
YouTube kicks,
Oh man! And also we had a request to sing the Netflix pick of the week song with the melody, with the actual melody without
Who
the
did
auto
that? Who said
tune.
that?
It was an important fan of ours.
Okay,
an important fan of ours. Oh, we do it again.
Oh, right now.
Over here.
We like movies, so do we. We like internet, so do we. It's the streaming picks of the week and Netflix. It's the streaming picks of the week. Amazon Prime. It's the streaming picks of the week. We like the internet too.
There.
Happy.
I also watched my favorite little like quick binge from Rust to Riches. Car Masters from Rust to Riches follows Gotham Garage. It really.
It's a horrible show, but
I love the show. It makes me fucking miss fucking customizing cars. It really does. Like I had a lot of fun doing
spider web shit.
No, they build amazing cars.
I don't get rid of the spider web chrome.
Dude, I'm with you.
Everything else about their cars are
unbelievable.
Fucking
the ones that they
dope.
do that they don't. Like the factory restoration on concept cars.
Oh, for sure. That they're trying to trade up.
Unbelievable.
That they're trading
they
up.
Are
they're
unbelievable.
Yeah, they are.
Anyway, I've always loved West Coast.
I wonder if they're going to
Shoppers.
get the car done in time.
Yeah, no. Like West. Well, that's what I actually kind of love about that show is like it doesn't do that whole fucking like forced time thing.
You watch that show and you tell me why that show is so good. Every person with a fucking
Are you talking about
heartbeat down to their genitals.
Are you talking about Constance Nunez?
Is that the way she talks?
No.
I don't know. She doesn't
It's
talk.
not.
No, I'm
No.
not talking about that. I'm just saying everyone watch the show.
But anyway, watching it, it is such a quick binge,
Fucking
and
on
they.
the microphone.
It's a quick binge.
Fuck you, Steve.
Yeah, I'll do what I fucking want. It's my show too, dude.
I've been watching Community.
Nice.
So as far as like just easy watches, because you need some
That's
easy
the
shit
deal.
to watch.
That's the deal.
Car Masters was
We've
great.
got all kinds of time, and dude, and they build 6 cars,
And
that
they
are
got
fucking-
a concept car like that.
That's what I'm saying.
was-
They
that
always
was
like
super
last year
cool.
they did the first season. They build a Lincoln Futuro, which is the coolest shit.
It is.
It's the fucking coolest shit. They're basically building it off of the concept drawings.
Yeah.
Unreal.
It was
And
so
then
good.
This one they
It was
do.
so good.
It's really cool.
Hey, Mike,
this
what
is
have you been
fucking
watching?
great. Let me bang it again.
Yeah, while he's
so I did the Coffee and Kareem thing, and yeah, there was a couple parts, like you said, that were kind of funny. but I wouldn't watch it again. I am on the island. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's a group of people that are all on an island. They wake up, and they're kind of scattered like every, 25 or 30 yards apart.
Is this Lost?
It sounds like it.
No. It's a like a limited series on Netflix.
Okay.
And after they try to figure out what the hell they're doing on this island, let's see what happens. One of them actually figures out what's going on. And she gets thrown back into her real life and finds out that this island is a simulation created by these like nerdy guys and therapists and psychiatrists. And not saying that they're all nerds, but the guys who created this algorithm that created a whole island that these prisoners go to see if they're going to repeat the next part of their life from their past one, if that makes sense.
Makes all the sense.
Okay. And I'm still on Ozark. About to finish it up tonight.
Oh, dude. What episode are you on?
8 of 3. And then that's it, right?
Yes.
Because there's not.
I don't think there's 10. Yeah, I think there's 8. Dude, okay. So you're on the last episode?
Yeah.
Oh, you're in for a treat, buddy. You're in for a treat. I had some fun with. I can't do it. I can't fucking do it.
I know.
I really fucking loved it. It was so great. I can't fucking do it.
Ozark, the last episode, blew my mind. It was
so
amazing, dude.
It's so good.
Okay,
did you catch
it for me?
Yes, I did. Guys, it's that time again. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, let's sing the end of the.
Thank you so much for following along.
End of the show song.
Well, actually, why don't we let's do that after we give him Ryan Bradley one last time.
No, I'm going to play Bradley, and I'm going to play Sweet Leaf, and then I'm going to play the end logos.
All right.
So we're going to sing the song.
Okay, fine.
Let's do it.
What's oh yeah, I forgot.
Remember?
Oh, that one song.
It's the end of the show. It's the end of the show. And you had to laugh, had to cry, and you had a good time, baby. It's the end of the show. End of the show. It's the end of the show.
We did it.
We did it.
We made it another. Good job.
Oh,
good job, Mike.
Oh.
I've been touching my eyes and my face. I'm over it. I'm fucking over it.
All right, y'all.
Thanks. Yeah, you're the power that you're powerful. You're the power that powers us. I can't even think of what you guys mean to me because it's so monumental.
Hang in there.
Don't piss in there and tell them it's raining.
I really mean it. I always sound sarcastic, but I swear
I'm just
to
kidding.
God, I do. I don't like. It amazes me on a daily basis of what this little group has become. Like,
Let's hit him with that fat beat.
Dude, that is my shit. Well, we're going to be on camera. I'll turn it off. All right, guys.
Bye,
we love listener-submitted shit.
Love y'all.
Please send your pictures. Any of the Hoosier hangs that you've been to, send them to Twain, TWAIN, at mycelial, MyCelial.media.
We love you guys, too.
You guys be well.
Playing Ryan, Ari.
Ryan Bradley and Ari Jones with I Am a Hoosier.
Yeah. We ain't nothing but everyday people. Living our everyday lives. Facing our everyday struggles. Yeah, we got different views. We come from different places. We all around different. But we choose to sit at the same table. I know what I am. Do you?
I am a Hoosier.
It's in my blood, it's in my veins.
Sophisticated.
And I ain't ever gonna change.
I am a Hoosier.
It's in my heart, it's in my soul.
Sophisticated.
I ain't afraid to let them go.
We all are Hoosiers.
And together we will stand.
Sophisticated.
Every woman, every man.
What you must know.
Hey y'all, listen to this.
In the sex
Well, maybe it is. We at the Spanish Society, jamming all night. If we get way too drunk, then we crashing inside, cause we all brought a 10 and we knew this could happen when smoke's in the air and the beers are cracking. I'm playing Lorana, I'm knowing my luck is up, lost all my money. The kid playing Chuck-a-Luck, I'm pretty wasted, I hope they don't kick me out. Now it's a party, Diane got her titties out. Ain't no party like a Southside party. It's in upstairs, downstairs, outside party. We got Craig on the mic, Steve strumming like you can't believe, Brian on harmonica and Angie on the tambourine. When I'm throwing washes, it ain't no more Mr. Nice Guy. We all come together when it counts. Shout out to Vibe Tribe. Hey, Bobby Battlehawk, I hope you like the new song. Wait a minute, who's that dude with the Daisy Duke song?
Cacao! Cacao! Make your Battlehawk cry. It's the Bobby Battlehawk Show. Dude, man.
Through the highs and the lows, we're the ones you wanna keep close. Through the ups and the downs, we'll be around. Hey, one more time, babe.
Through the highs and the lows, we're the ones you wanna keep close. Through the ups and the downs, we'll be around. I am a Hoosier.
It's in my blood, it's in my veins.
Sophisticated.
And I ain't ever gonna change.
I am a Hoosier.
It's in my heart, it's in my soul.
Sophisticated.
I ain't afraid to let them know.
We are the Hoosiers.
And together we will stay.
Sophisticated.
Every woman, every man.
One thing you must know.
Hey y'all, listen to this.
Well,
maybe it is. We sharing our memes, we sharing our dreams, the drugs that we love and our favorite teams, discussing religion and politics, what we like, what we hate, and everything in between. We watching the show, Monday at 7, we might go to hell, we might go to heaven. Lord forgive me for my sin, I'm in Facebook jail again. Ain't no family like that hoe, so family tell the DJ we got a full house. No, Danny tell him turn it up, crank it up, light it up and dance a bit, then go talk to the boys about the benefits of cannabis, CBD, DMT, they know all about it, bro. Be glad to have a drink for support if you go without it, though. They love to talk and love to listen about anything. No matter what's going on, they about to entertain. It don't matter where you're from, it don't matter where you've been. I heard rumors about this group, pay no attention to them. Yeah, I wasn't sure if I fit in, now it's too late. Wait, what you mean? I already drank the Kool-Aid.